everyone. My name is Izu Nwachukwu, and this is my podcast, A Real People, Real Business. On the podcast, I invite entrepreneurs and business people to tell us their inspiring stories of how they became successful. But I don't only want to hear about the success stories. I also want to hear about the trials, the challenges, and the failures that they had to go through to become successful. And on today's episode, I have with me a remarkable lady. She is the co-founder of Archgoke Interactive, which is a media company based here in Dubai. She's a TV personality. She is a public speaker, and she has worked for one of the largest TV stations in Africa. Mayowa Adegoke, welcome to Real People, Real Business.
Thank you for having me. So good to be here.
Good. By the way, I have to say, I love the dress. I love the jewelry. You're looking like a boss lady. So thank you so much. So Mayowa, I wanted to hear your story about your journey to coming into Dubai and how you started your own media company. But first, I want to go back to your journalism days when you were in TV. Why did you go into journalism? What was the passion? What drove you into that?
Funny story. I believe my father inspired that. He himself was a journalist, but he did like newspaper print.
Okay.
But I was greatly influenced by his intelligence, his network. My father knew just about everybody, and he was on first name basis. He would come home and talk about the news and analyze it and give us like behind the scenes stories and just share his opinion. Plus we got access to like these VIP parties. Like you'd have Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi just over there, the MD of First Bank over there, like that life for a teenager. I'm like, I want some of that. And then when I did decide what I wanted to do, it was either do law or do mass communication. Mass communication felt like I just have to talk, ask questions, meet people, and I get paid. Sign me up for that one.
Why not? Absolutely. So your father was the inspiration for you going into journalism. And when you got in there, you know, we and I had this discussion. You had such a flourishing career. You moved up the ranks very quickly, and you worked for one of the largest TV stations there. Tell me what that was like in terms of working in that environment.
Childhood dream come true. Listen, this is what I wish everybody would have. You desire to work somewhere, and then you get in there. And then you get in and you're growing so fast. In fact, the vice chairman, Mrs. Shola Momo, called me a natural. And that's been my story for forever. So it's just passion fit into the right place. Round peg, round hole. That's really been my story. And it's been amazing. I really feel like I have a blessed life to have been able to do what I love to do, still doing what I love to do with the best, right, in Africa. And when you talk about African media globally, still the best. So it's been a blessing. And to even now evolve to who I am today, to be their Dubai correspondent, just another level of greatness, still doing what I love to do with the people I love to do it with. Blessed life, really.
Okay. Before I go into the shift to the UAE and Dubai, and I know there's such an amazing story there. You mentioned something in terms of being the round peg, having passion and doing what you want with that you're passionate about. I find that this is something that a lot of people lose when they go into adulthood, right? We're forced to go in to get a job. We're forced to just earn money, and some of us leave our passion behind and don't find a way to kind of turn our passion into our jobs. How did you manage that? How did it, how did you fall? Did you just fall into it, or did you attentively seek to make sure that you got a job that sort of matched your passion?
I think I definitely went for it. When I came back after service year, Nigerians will know what this is, and then tried to get a job with channels. It didn't happen the first year. And I was actually quite disappointed. I said, okay, maybe TV is not in my destiny. And another opportunity showed up, which was more writing, website management. And I pursued that because I felt, okay, I write, I would have responsibility. I can do this. So it's still part of my core strengths and skills. And I enjoy that as well, working from home for 2 companies. So before remote work and, working from home was a thing,
You are an OG.
I was already doing this in 2011 stroke 12, right? Earning good money that some of my mates who got jobs at entry level weren't making, because I was making like about 100,000 naira sitting at home. So I've always just been favored in such a way that I always find my spot.
Okay.
Something that I love to do. I'm skilled to do, and the opportunity to do. And I think one thing is perspective, and that's one gift I have: perspective of seeing things, even when they seem like they're not working the way you want them to work. Have perspective. Listen, I left the possibility of a TV job with another station for this media website work. Because I went there for like a 2-week stint. I didn't like the culture there. It wasn't channels. And I said, you know what? I'm quitting and going for an intern job that wasn't going to pay me any money for a month. But you had names like Tiwa Savage, Omaomi, Joke Silva. Like, I was going to be working with OGs. I said, you know what? A 1-month internship job without pay, but I was going to be working with these people. I feel like this will look more exciting on my CV than these guys I don't actually like. My father couldn't understand because he tried to get me that gig. He couldn't understand, but follow your conviction. And that's what has helped me all my life.
Okay.
Regardless of the situation, follow your gut.
Okay. Fantastic. And talking about following your gut. So you had this amazing career in Nigeria. You were determined and you went to the right places and it all seemed to be clicking for you. And then you moved to the UAE. And I know you moved to the UAE without a plan because you were following
love.
So tell us about that. Tell me about, because just to get up and change your life and move to a new country without a job, without prospects, without anything, and you're just coming for love, I would lose my mind. I would be frozen with fear. So, tell me about that story.
You know what? Thinking back on it, I now see what other people saw then. Some of my colleagues couldn't fathom how I would leave an established career in Nigeria to move to Dubai, where you will be a nobody. Like, how does somebody take excitedly the opportunity to become a nobody? But I was drunk in love. Still, I'm drunk in love.
That's good.
But I believe, again, following your convictions. So work is great, career is great, success in that space, money making, career is great. But how about success in life, in love and relationships? I also value that. I didn't want to become someone who was successful just in career. I'm a lover girl. And relationship, marriage, building a family is also very important. Yes. Listen, I wanted to get married at, say, 20-something and have all my kids by 30. I was that passionate about relationship life.
Okay.
So relationship was equally important.
Great.
If not more important. And so I believe that this guy is a guy for me. I'm going to live my life with him. And I'm going to make the sacrifice if I need to. Like, life comes our way in different ways. What if I stayed in Nigeria, came to Nigeria? What if something happened, I lost a job? Anything can happen at any time. Yeah. So you always have to prioritize what is most precious to you. Right. So I love this guy. I believe he's the one for me and my life partner. And so I'm willing to start afresh. Plus, I told him, if you're not going to make more money coming back to Nigeria, listen, guy, stay there, right? You make more money, I'm coming, and I will figure it out. Something will show up.
And let's be clear, this wasn't the two of you in Nigeria saying, okay, we're going to move together. You weren't married at the time.
We weren't married.
Right? He was over here. He had established himself. He was in construction. He's got, things going for him.
Absolutely.
And you were in Nigeria and you had this long distance relationship. And on this long distance relationship, you then decided to come over and that's when the sort of love blossomed and you guys became a couple. Because for me, it's kind of, it makes sense that the two of you would have left together and moved over. But to come over here and not be sure what's on the ground, I think that's remarkable. It's just like, it shows the depth of what you felt.
I honestly didn't see it. Like, I think I'm just blind to impossibilities.
Yeah.
I'm so wired for possibilities. I'm so wired for everything is rigged in my favor. And I told my husband, because he also was like, maybe you shouldn't come just yet. Like, the guy was concerned. Like, listen, I don't want you telling me one day that I left my work because of you. And I understand that, right? He saw something that I was too drunk in love to see. But again, I'm still just this person who's very wired for possibilities. Okay. And I told him, I said, listen, I know that there's a possibility of a rough patch. There's a possibility that I'd come and it just won't work out. But I told him it will only be for a bit. I believe so strongly that life is rigged in my favor. I'm intelligent. I've got skills that I can transfer to any other industry, any other country. So it's not a matter of not having confidence in myself. I'm very confident in myself. I believe I can get into a room and make stuff happen, regardless of that room. So I was open to life can life, but I will happen too.
You will happen too.
Right? And so I agreed to come. And it's like, I'm coming regard. My mom was like, maybe come back after the wedding, because we had a white wedding in Fujairah.
Yeah.
Maybe come back, since you don't really have a steady thing going on.
Yeah.
I told her, let's not get married.
Yeah.
If I'm getting married to this guy, like once that ring gets on,
that's it.
That's it. Bye-bye. I'm gone.
Yeah. Listen, Mayo, we're talking here and I'm getting chills because what I'm getting is that you're fearless. That's coming across to me. And, fear paralyzes a lot of people. You're telling me about you're wired, your life, you're rigged to be successful. You can go into the room and make it happen. You will happen. Where's this confidence coming from? Because most people will see these sort of challenges and say, okay, let me take it baby steps at a time. Let me see what happens before I go. But you're like, I don't care. I'm going to kick the door down and it's going to happen. So where is this confidence coming from? What do you tap into to see things this way?
Are you ready for that conversation? So let me start with my foundation.
Okay.
I was raised by a father who's super intelligent, confident, strict. And my father was the type that would tell us then and say, all I owe you is education. So if you mess up your education, I'm not going to be begging all these my big friends to help my daughter who couldn't even get good grades. So I don't know if my father even remembers saying that. But for a little girl, the little Mayowa, I was like, listen, you've got to figure your stuff out. Right? This guy is just going to pay your school fees. Every other thing depends on you. So that, I don't know if it's trauma response, right? But this is the mindset I had.
Yes.
Very young. Like, you've got to figure your life out.
Yeah.
Number one. A very spiritual mother that gave me spiritual foundation, praying. Listen, this woman would come in the middle of the night and spray holy water on you.
I think this is a typical Nigerian mother.
Do you understand? But I saw a mother who had a relationship with God, who would talk. Listen, I was afraid for something. It's like there were some funny things I was doing that I would be afraid, like my mom's going to find out. She's going to come and say, I had a dream that you did X, Y, Z.
I saw this.
You understand? Like, they were real stuff.
My mom would have dreams about things I didn't do. And then saying to me, I know you're going to do this, but I don't do it. So whether
she was having dreams or not, that obviously made a huge impression on me. So you've got like confidence, career, get up and get it. Even if you're a girl, you've got spiritual foundation. You mix those two things together, something is bound to happen. Plus now add in the fact that everything was clicking for me. Someone else, they might see it as not clicking, but again, I've got the gift of perspective. So people will see something and say, oh, it's small, it's half full, or it's almost empty. I see half full. I see it's on a journey. I see it's going to get better. So mix those three things together, because your parents can only do so much.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you moved to the UAE. You're in Dubai now. You're settled in a marriage, but you still have nothing going for you. You just left your career. So what was next? How did you start to get into your own business?
So I had half a plan, so to speak. Channels had agreed for me to work.
Is Channels TV.
This is Channels TV Nigeria. They had agreed that I'd represent them in Dubai and correspond, but I didn't have a hard paper, no pen on the paper just yet. So someone advised and said, listen, even when you go there, even if they haven't put pen to paper to sign a contract, start working. And bless him, he gave me that sound advice. And so when I came, regardless of the fact that I didn't have a contract, I kept on working. Plus, this is a company I've been with for 6 years. We've got a great relationship. And they were still paying my Nigeria salary, regardless of the fact that I had left. So I kept working, and a couple of months later, they did come through with a contract. So that gave a lot of certainty, okay, now we've got something solid working with. Secondly, I was still out for opportunities. And just as I was telling you a couple of minutes ago, there was actually a gig I got just across the road. These guys, I found them on Facebook. They were advertising for an audition, presenter audition. I just strolled in. Listen, I was even 3 months pregnant. Nobody knew. I was just recovering from the first trimester drama, skinny. And I walked in, did the audition. I happened to be the most experienced and the best skilled. And I got a side gig that was paying me $2,000 a month for 3 hours a day.
Nice. Okay.
See life rigged in. So you see what I'm saying? It's just being open to opportunities and being absolutely confident that everything will work out fine. I kid you not, there were times when I had low moments. And coming to Dubai, September 2019, I remember in December 2019, I met with Fela Durotoye, a renowned Nigerian public speaker and just leader, thought leader. He came to Dubai. I had a moment with him and I was sharing my heart and my frustration because I felt like I was in limbo. I felt like, who am I now? I was having some kind of mini identity crisis. Like, what would I do? Like, who am I now? Because again, remember, all my roots have been yanked. What are your roots? Your work in Nigeria is a root. Your family is a kind of root. Your friends' root. Your routine back in. All those are roots that keep us grounded. And now I'm here in Dubai. Everything is new. I'm yet to sink my roots into the ground. So that came with some emotional effect.
Yes.
And so I spoke to him. I spoke to as many people that I could speak to in that season to just give me clarity, give me insight. So that helped. So it's not like it was all kumbaya. I had moments of, how is this going to work out now? But we keep pushing regardless of that. You work and you figure it out while you work.
While you work. Cool. Fantastic. And, you talk about low moments. People that move to Dubai, even with a job lined up and things like that, you hear, them say for the first 6 months, they don't feel right here. It takes some time to adjust and things like that. And that's right, because your roots have been yanked. Your family, the people you communicate, you're sometimes all on your own here. So it does make sense to talk to as many people. I know I went through the same thing when I first moved here, and it took my boss's wife took me to this with my boss. It wasn't anything dodgy. he was there, but she was the kid. But I spoke to them. I said it doesn't feel right, and they took me to this underground DJ kind of party place, and it was like really OG school music, and it just clicked for me. I remember that moment. I think I was 6 months in, and it clicked, and I was like, yeah, I could do this place. I could be here. So I totally understand and where you're coming from there. So now you've kind of started to build your identity, but then you started to launch a couple of businesses. So I know you've got Archgoke Interactive, which is your media company. I know you're a brand specialist as well. So you have the Lady Mayowa brand that you're working on, where you help executives build their brand profile, especially online. And then you have a massive seminar you run every month, which is Road to Success. So can you just tell us a bit about all these businesses, all these sort of pots that you have cooking all together at the same time?
So when I came in, I had that season of trying to figure it out, trying to find myself again. And then Channels came through with a contract. So now I've got something I'm doing every month, right? So some kind of route now. And then I remember that before the first Road to Success happened in 2002, June, I'd been talking about it for like a year. Now, remember, 2019, I came in, COVID was like all of 2020, so nobody was doing anything. And I was baking a baby. So that was like motherhood. And then 2021, things started getting better. But I saw a gap in the community, now in the African community, and just narrow it down to the Nigerian community, where you've got a lot of people working in silos and just in different groups and pods. We didn't really have a community, especially one that was dedicated to development and learning. You know, there's a lot of networking and party, but party can only do so much for you when you're trying to pay your bills. And I kept seeing that gap. What also helped me see that gap was me as a storyteller. So now I'm a storyteller. I'm trying to tell stories about Nigerians here, about Africans here, about the community here. And I keep talking to you like, why don't we have any platform where people come together, especially in the Nigerian community? Why is this not? So I saw that gap. And I think my journalism side helped me with that. And I talked about, we need this for maybe a year plus. And I kept talking about it. And again, remember, before this recording started, I told you I don't like talking about stuff over and over again. I like to do as well. Don't just talk about problems. Try and fix it. So after talking about it for so long, we need this kind of platform. We need to do this kind of thing. And I spoke to different people about it. Like, you know what, I'm thinking of doing this, but it didn't happen until a year. Guess what? When we did the first Road to Success, I planned it in 3 weeks.
Okay. That's
literally set a date. We are doing this thing.
That's extremely
I did it with just one person on my team. So it was pretty much just 2 people. Event day came. The day before the event, my original venue didn't get a permit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so overnight, I've got to find a new venue, which I found. Again, you've got to keep going at this thing. 105 people in the room for a first event. You see proof of concept. There is a gap. I saw it. I did something about it. And after doing the first one, now I know I'm doomed for life. Now I'm stuck with this one. Now you can't do it and stop it. Now you've got to continue. And that's how I got stuck with Road to Success. I said, the next one will be in December. Nina Olatoke said, Mayowa, no, you're going to do this in 3 months. Guess what? We did the next one in September.
Wow.
And that's where you came to speak.
Yes. So I remember coming into Road to Success, and this seminar, like you said, is about people in the African community and educating them on their careers and educating them on opportunities and having a bit of networking where they can learn. And you invited me to speak at it, and I remember coming and thinking this was impeccably organized. It was very, very well done. And, you know, even down to the fact that you had assigned a PA to me to work with me, and I was like, you know, and to make sure I was organized, and you know, so I thought this was very, very well done. I was seriously impressed. And then coming into the event, I remember the hunger and the drive of people at that event, really soaking up the information that was being shared by people who were successful within the African community and even all the communities outside of Africa, and really wanting to learn and really wanting to develop themselves. And yeah, at that point, I thought, yeah, this has been a massive gap that has been missing. And, you know, I was very impressed that you'd spotted this and you were looking to fill it up. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next one and hearing more stories about that. And, you know, I think definitely keep it going.
Thank you.
I know you will.
I'm stuck with it now. I can't run away. Yeah. But, you know, we didn't talk about Archgoke. How did that happen?
Yes, that's next. I want to understand how that came about.
And
also the Lady Mayowa brand. We've got to touch on everything.
So people are wondering, who is this woman again? So Archgoke happened sort of by chance, right? Half by chance, half by plan. My husband was already planning to set up a company with a friend of his. And they were already having those talks. It was going to be something related to his industry, construction, and getting, you know, just solving problems for people in that industry. And then in my space, I get an opportunity with Dubai Tourism.
Yes.
And then they say, oh, you need certain documents to get this opportunity. Turns out I need a company to get this. And I'm like, DED is not going to do this one. You need an actual company license. And so my husband's already having a conversation with his friend, and that wasn't really going so well at the time. Like, I don't know, someone was having cold feet and I have a need. So it's like, okay, let's just plug this media side into what we're already trying to set up. And, you know, UAE is just fantastic with how they give you options for a company license. Yeah. And that's how we plugged in the media part. And that's how we got our first contract and our first gig.
With Dubai Tourism.
With Dubai Tourism.
I mean, the people who've been here years trying to work with Dubai Tourism, and you come in and it's just like, boom, my first gig, Dubai Tourism, here we go.
So we did the gig, and we just went to sleep, right? We just went back to our normal lives. We done the gig, we got the money. Okay, everybody go back to what you're doing. And then the next year, you've got to renew the license, and it's like thousands of dirhams, and it's like,
okay,
this company's got to work now.
Yeah.
And that's how we got stuck with a company that we now have to make sure it works.
Yeah.
And that's how we started building. We're still building. And now we're looking at harnessing what are our strengths. What do we have? How does the Lady Mayowa, the Lady Mayowa brand fit into this? Because ultimately, even the Lady Mayowa brand, as it's growing, needs some legal structure. And so Archgoke is becoming the legal structure behind the Lady May brand, while it also begins to take a life of its own. So it's been a life of solving problems, seeing gaps, doing something about it, and getting stuck with the solution. And now you've got to build the solution. You've got to scale up. It's been a challenge. People sometimes wonder, like, how do you do it? Plus, I've got a child who's not even 3 years old yet.
Yes, and I remember us doing like the pre-interview,
and he was all over the place.
Was all over the place, and you know, and I thought to myself, how does she do it? Because you've got a very exuberant child. I mean, at that age, they are a ball of energy, but I was like, she's so patient. So
he tests my nerves sometimes, but I love challenges.
Yeah.
You know, I told you before this conversation, all my life, at least all my adult life, I've juggled several balls at the same time. It gives me a rush and energy. And I'm also just blessed to have the gift to handle it.
Yes.
Right? I don't think many people can do it. Yeah. And sometimes it does feel effortless. But it's ended up in me having lots of gray hairs. Yeah. And that's okay, right? But I love it. Okay. I wouldn't do it any different.
Okay, so tell us about the Lady Mayowa brand. This is kind of your brand specialty company where you help executives build their brand presence online. What was the gap you saw there? Why did you go into that?
That was a natural evolution. Funny story, my husband started calling me Lady May.
Okay.
Right? I was just plain old Mayowa. And then when we got together, he started calling me Lady May. Maybe because of his pastor's kid background. So, you know, the whole churchy lady, I don't know. But he started calling me Lady May. And I wanted to do a social media revamp and make all my handles the same. So I was consulting with a friend. We went through several names and ended up with the Lady Mayowa. So all my social media was at the Lady Mayowa. And then people just took that on. People started calling me Lady May, Lady May, Lady May. And then coming to Dubai unlocked another side of me. So when you work full-time in an organization, there's just certain things you can't do. And I've been the type to just be hungry to do this. I'm an ideas person. I want to do this. I don't want to be boxed. Don't tell me I'm not just a journalist. That's just one cap. Or that's just one feather. Right? So coming to Dubai and having a different work contract gave me liberty to now fly. And so if I want to do Road to Success, I'm going to do it. If I want to do Archgoke, I'm going to do it. If I want to do something. So I was building, my brand was getting built. I became this community person. Again, when you solve people's problems, you attract them. So people began to like me. They began to get attracted to me because I'm doing Road to Success. Oh, do you know Mayowa? She does Road to Success. That platform is fantastic. So they like you because you're helping them.
Yes. Yeah.
And so my brand started growing, plus my media work, plus I got opportunities in Dubai, interviewed Steve Harvey, Sasha Jaffrey, like on every side, I was blooming and growing, and it's all connected to the Lady Mayowa. And that's how that started building. And then this year, I came into the space of what problem can I solve for people? Because now people see what you're doing with yourself. They love it. They want it for themselves. Let's solve problems again. Okay. And that's how the Lady Mayowa, you know, is evolving from just serving me to serving other people.
Fantastic. And I always say, you know what, to your point, I say give something for free, you know, give something for nothing for now, and eventually it comes back to you. Cool. So Mayowa, your story is really, really amazing.
It's rich, no?
It's very rich. I think, what I'm pulling out is a true boss chick or boss lady, Lady May. You're fearless. You go for stuff. I'm the sort of person, I've got to analyze the thing to death. I've got to look at 10 years down the line. You're a man after all. So
it comes with the territory.
If I'm going to take a step, I need to, I need to know, sure. I need to be sure and stuff like that. And I have to have plan A, plan B, plan C if it doesn't work. So, but you just go straight as an arrow and you go through the door. And kudos to that. We're all very different and it all works in our favors. And that's one thing I say to people, tap into your strengths and just maximize it, but have a purpose, have a goal, and that will guide you. So coming to goals as well, I am a marketer, so I have to talk about marketing. What role has marketing played in building your brand and building your company for you? Do you see it as an important part in sort of pushing yourself out there to get recognition?
Of course, I'm in the media industry. Like, we've got a marketing department at Channel. So if you want to do anything with Channels business-wise, I'm going to send you their number because those guys pull in the big bucks. And so with that background, I understand just how important marketing is. And I also understand that there's only so much you can do with your inner circle. And there's only so much you can do with people who know you. Like, you've got this whole wild world that can put money in your pocket. How do you get them? It's marketing. And thank God for digital marketing. You don't need to show up physically anywhere. Just invest there. And at Archgoke, we understand and appreciate how important that is. And we're, in our journey to, again, fine-tune our product. So that's one thing you've also got to do. Again, we plan. So I do a bit of planning, right? I do a bit of analysis and logic. I do a bit of that. It's what is the best product to push? Because if there's one thing I know, when you say everybody come, that's nobody come. You've got to say Izu, Mayowa, come. So we're in that space of fine-tuning our product so well that when we do invest, because marketing, you've got to invest in it. When we do invest heavily in that, we know what we're doing and we're rigged again to succeed in that. So marketing is a huge plus. I need to speak to you about that.
Anytime you're ready. Anytime you're ready. Cool. That's what it's all about. So Mayowa, thank you so much. But before we kind of end, this is a section where you share your wisdom. So I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
And, I'd like you to give us your answers and your perspective on this. So the first question is, what's the most surprising fact that you've learned about yourself on the journey so far in terms of your business and enterprise? Second is, what do you consider to be successful? And this is subjective to you, so it doesn't necessarily have to be about the cars, the money, and the house. And the third is, what advice would you give to others who have a similar or who are in a similar position as yourself or are thinking about starting their business or their enterprise? So first question, what's the most surprising fact that you've learned about yourself?
Surprising fact I've learned about myself is I ultimately do it afraid. And I'm in a season of learning. And sometimes learning doesn't have to be you learning it to do it. Learning is, who do I need to do this for me? And if you want to go far, you've got to go with people. So I learned that. Sometimes people tell you, just learn it by yourself, DIY, you can do your intelligence. That's what just had more gray hairs, right? Let's not have
take on too much.
Stormy all over the place. So it's learning that I can open up to people. I can bring more people into my team. I can find the skills and the talents that will take me further. So I think that's been an interesting revelation for myself.
Okay.
Secondly is success.
Yeah, what do you consider to be successful?
What I consider to be successful. I had a challenge answering this as well in the pre-recording.
Yes.
What did I say then?
I think you said being successful was a wholesome balance of family and friends, and not just the house and the car. So if you
it's never the house and the car. I mean, listen, I want soft life, right? I want to have houses all over the world, but to me that's emptiness. So success is becoming my highest self and then using that to help other people.
Okay.
So whatever I'm doing at whatever level, it's hack it in you and help other people hack it in themselves.
Yeah.
So people always wait for a time and a season and a certain bank account to call themselves successful.
Yes.
If I die today, I die a successful woman, because what I have also given.
Fantastic.
And so there are people's stories who are already linked to mine. They would never forget me, because maybe there was a word I shared, there was a contact I gave, there was something that I deposited into them that helped them. That's what success is.
Fantastic. I love it. I love when success involves helping other people. Okay, and the final question is, what advice would you give to others who are thinking about starting their own enterprise or business?
I'd say that you are the foundation of it to a large degree. Whatever you want to do can only be as successful as you are. And when I say you, what does that mean? It is the wealth of your network, the depth of your insight, how rich is your mind, the goodness of your heart. It's all linked to you. If you don't succeed, I don't know what business you're going to do that succeeds, because whatever is happening with you will happen to the business as well.
Yes.
So find you, build you, hack you, become you, and whatever you do, business, relationship, life, it will just roll over all those other things. But it's always you first. So don't think about money first.
So invest in yourself. Invest in yourself in order to be able to invest in the business.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's always you first.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it. Mayowa, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed the conversation and seeing this other side to you, which is, because we always see the lovely personality, the TV personality, but seeing this side that's, a go-getter and a boss lady, I really loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Izu.
You're welcome.
It's been fun being on this side.
Well, I'm happy to oblige. Thank you. Fantastic.